news. James Robbins, BBC News, Paris.
To find out how the pound is performing in New York, I'm joined by the chief economist of the Midland Bank there, Brian Fabry. Mr. Fabry, how is the pound doing in New York?
Well, it's not doing very well at all. In fact, it's closed down around the 2.695 level to the mark. Obviously, much 7 or 8 points below the low level of the prior target. Undoubtedly, it's likely to suffer some more tomorrow as traders here are in agreement that they must either search for the next weakest currency, if it's not the pound, or the pound itself. And we just don't know how low it'll go. But traders are seemingly caught up in the pressure to push the pound and other currencies in the ERM lower.
So what are the dealers in New York making of all this turmoil in the European markets?
Well, curiously enough, it looks as though if they can salvage Maastricht, regrettably, they may ruin the ERM. Unfortunately, because the ERM was supposed to provide the stability, and undoubtedly that's the thing that's being weakened right now. If it's not the pound, it's not just the pound that's going to be at risk here. It's also the lira, perhaps the peseta, and perhaps before the Maastricht vote in France is up, we'll have more currencies leaving the ERM.
Mr. Fabry, thank you very much indeed. On the line from Brussels now is our European business correspondent, Jonathan Charles. Jonathan, this meeting that's going on in Brussels tonight, are they likely to agree to Britain's request to suspend the ERM as a whole?
That's certainly one of the options, and in fact we're hearing now at this end that the Spanish will support British calls for the suspension of the ERM because they're very worried about the effects on the peseta over the next 48 hours, also a weak currency in the ERM.
And what about the German Bundesbank? There was some speculation today that they might make more concessions. They might drop their interest rates a bit more. Any sign of that?
The Bundesbank representative coming here, who's believed to be the Vice President, Hans Tietmeyer, certainly will face a lot of criticism, but he is not keen to see the suspension of the ERM. He would just like a currency realignment. He believes it would be very dangerous for Europe to have no currency system for the next few days, even until after the French referendum.
And that meeting's going on now, is it, Jonathan?
It's just starting now. Quite a few of the people attending it are already arriving in Brussels. There's still a few more to arrive. It's got to make a quick decision because it needs to decide before the Japanese markets open in a couple of hours' time.
Jonathan Charles in Brussels, thanks very much indeed. The main news again, Britain's membership of the European exchange rate mechanism has been suspended after a day of big falls in the pound's value against the mark. In New York, the pound closed around 8 pfennigs below its ERM floor. Interest rates here have risen to 12%. A further rise of 3% planned for tomorrow was reversed. Parliament will be recalled next week for 1 day or 2. Newsnight is on BBC Two at 10:30. From the 9 o'clock news, good night.
This is BBC One. Now, North News with Steve Sutton.
Good evening. Homeowners and companies in the north have been shocked by today's rise in interest rates. The government expected this region to lead the way out of recession, but business and unions say that's now even further away. Simon Willis reports.
Today's interest rates mean northern companies which have borrowed money to buy machinery have seen their loan repayments increase by 50%. Business people had wanted rates cut. The government has done the opposite.
Seems like an overreaction, a kind of knee-jerk reaction, and one which is going to cause considerable hardship to people throughout the economy, in work, out of work, in business or whatever.
We've tried very hard to get the northeast economy going, and many industrial people I've talked to are waiting of interest rates going down to make long-term plans. Now, of course, many of those plans are going to be put on the shelf, and I believe a lot of industry is going to be affected.
Northeast builders Barratt's said they would still offer a fixed-rate mortgage package to new home buyers because they shouldn't be penalised for the failure of government policies. The region's building societies aren't putting up mortgage rates yet. They seem to be waiting for the turmoil to subside before taking decisions.
The Lord Chancellor's Department has called for a report on further allegations regarding Judge William Crawford QC. Judge Crawford formally apologised to a female court usher over an incident on September the 9th. A spokesman tonight said the Lord Chancellor's Department was concerned that other allegations of over-familiarity towards female court staff have been made regarding Judge Crawford. One football result tonight in the Anglo-Italian Cup preliminary round. Grimsby 2, Newcastle 2. That's it from us tonight. We're back with breakfast news early tomorrow morning, but for now, a very good evening.
Good evening, and it's all change on the weather front. We had nice weather today. Certainly the satellite shows a hole in the cloud over Britain, but behind me, coming up from northern France to the Bay of Biscay, some quite angry, dark-looking swirls of cloud. The clumps down over northern Spain actually are thunderstorms at the moment, so completely a different emphasis for tomorrow. This is where the high pressure that gave us the nice sunny weather over many parts today is at the moment. It's going to drift eastwards. First frontal system will bring rain to Northern Ireland and Scotland. The next one, rather more important for the rest of the British Isles, brings something in the way of thunder for many of us as well. So the emphasis is different then. High pressure's moved away, and then low pressure, the dominant theme for lunchtime on Thursday. The first bits of rain already into Western Ireland, even on the southwest approaches as well, and there's no reason why we shouldn't have a bit of drizzle, even the odd shower up the western side of the British Isles during tonight, England and Wales anyway. Rain, in fact, more persistent over Northern Ireland and Scotland, will move in, but for most of northern England, quite a clear night. Though more cloudy in the south, I think it'll still be dry, but a good deal of mist, even some fog by the morning. Temperatures really on the mild side, in double figures, though a little bit chilly up in the Highlands of Scotland. And we've still got that fairly stiff southeasterly wind over just about the whole country. So tomorrow then we start quite bright after the clearance of mist and fog for many people in England and Wales. The rain though still just into Northern Ireland and the northwest of Scotland, but it won't take long before the first vestiges of those thundery showers start to push into England and Wales, and by the later part of the day they'll have moved right across and towards East Anglia. Some heavy showers in that lot, and also some fog along the south coast quite possible, and all the time the rain not far away from Northern Ireland and Scotland. Now it's going to be this eastern side of the country sees the best of the dry weather, but not necessarily the highest temperatures. They'll probably be right down in the south. We could see 22 or 23. That's definitely in the warm category. Rather nearer normal further north in Scotland and even northern England. As far as Friday is concerned, low pressure is still the dominant theme, so it looks like a wet day for England and Wales, but this cold front is going to bring fresher weather in. So generally muggy, a lot of showers around, very cloudy, but fresher weather in very much later. Good night.
This month on Crime Watch UK, the ordeal of a bank manager's wife who was taken hostage. We retrace the route the kidnapper took to collect the ransom. In Chesterfield, 2 security guards were attacked at gunpoint. Witnesses tell us what they saw. And the murder of Rachel Nickel on Wimbledon Common. We piece together the descriptions and clues that have been assembled in 3 months of inquiries. That's Crime Watch UK tomorrow night at 9:30. We'll be waiting for your call.
In just under 5 minutes on BBC Two, tonight's short film in the season of Screenplay Firsts finds an art historian trying to talk to students about Caravaggio's Supper at Emmaus, while the students in the group are more interested in studying the historian himself. The irreverence goes a lot further in 50 minutes here on BBC One, where a brat pack headed by Emilio Estevez put their bratishness to the test in The Breakfast Club. That'll be a little later than scheduled now, at about 11 o'clock. Now, the investigative documentary series Inside Story, with a revealing report shot mostly undercover about a ruthless international racket that exploits poverty to feed the sex industry. The women trade.